Welcome back to Man Across New Horizons. I'm darling, and shall we see what's going on our lovely island of Fawnhollow today? You know, a little bit of a change up in the introduction. Ooh, you know, she raised her voice up and down a little bit. You never see that coming. I don't know what I'm talking about. Yeah, what should we talk about today? I'm not really sure. I don't really have a conversation topic in mind. So this is normally where I don't know what that noise was. It's normally where I sort of like reach into the depths of my mind, my nostalgia palace, which doesn't exist. So it was meant to be like mind palace combined with nostalgia. So I don't know. Well, that seems to bring up like the assumption that I have palaces, mind palaces for all different types of like feelings, which is definitely not true. But anyway, hello there, everyone. Right now in Fawnhallow, 6:04 p.m. on Wednesday, February 1st, 2023. So, of course, today is the 1st of February, which means, you know, we're in February month. So what's happening in February month? I mean, there's not really many holidays in February, you know. What have we got? We've got Shrove Tuesday, Ash Wednesday. We got Valentine's Day, of course. Sometimes we have Chinese New Year. Not this year. This year was incredibly early. But, you know, if Chinese New Year is very early in January, then you have a Lantern Festival, I suppose, in February. Actually, I think the Lantern Festival is most of the time in February. Sometimes it's in March, depending on maybe if Chinese New Year is late in February. I don't really know what the lunar calendar is like, so I don't really know how you find out, except for just by going onto Google and being like, hey, when is when is X holiday this year? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, February's just like the shortest month of the year. That's what people always talk about, you know, like leap years, leap days, and all that, and all the ways to remember it, and you know. And then the rules for leap years is actually quite involved, isn't it? It's like it's every 4 years is a leap year, except for every 100 years it's not leap year, except for every 600 years it is a leap year again, or something like that. And then it's like every 2000 something. No, it doesn't make sense. It has to be 2400. And like every 2400 years it's also not a leap year again. I don't really know if that's true or not, but I don't know. It's just sort of like the constant alignment and misalignment of the Earth's rotation. And around the sun and trying to get it to properly line up so we can actually, I don't know, have a unison between nature and man-made years. To a certain degree, you know, as an average person, you might be like, why does that matter? But, you know, I'm sure it matters, you know, at some point or something. To most humankind, like, you know, trickle down, you know, say humankind lives on to like 10, 20,000 years or something, you'd be like, oh, you know, maybe the entire seasons get reversed just because of how out of sync everything is. I don't know. That's probably not how things work, but, you know, that's just life. I genuinely don't really know what to talk about, so hold on. I'm reaching into the depths of my mind. I was going to talk about pancakes, but we can't talk about... Let's talk about pancakes on Shrove Tuesday itself. Why don't we talk about... What comes to mind? See, and the problem is with this sort of thing is that I'm always trying to think of like, oh, what's a really interesting topic to talk about? When really, you know, you're not here for that. You're here just to talk about like the most basic thing possible. You know, why don't we talk about? Or listen to? I can't really say you're, you know, as part of an active conversation. In much a way, same way that Dora the Explorer is an active conversation. So with these videos, yeah, I don't really know what to talk about. I'm gonna be perfectly honest. I can't really think of anything. And my brain is just like kind of like mush right now, so it's just like I don't know. Should we talk about? I really can't think of anything. Gel pens? I don't know what that came to mind. I'm just trying to think of something nostalgic, but you know, maybe I don't want to talk about something nostalgic. Why don't we talk about something theoretical, philosophical? You know, like the trolley problem. I actually think I've spoken about the trolley problem before, which makes it, you know, even more difficult to, you know, think of new conversations in the first place. Why don't we just pick something random? Hold on. I'm a genius. Random conversation topic generator. Why do I need to do this when I can get AI to do the job for me? And I'm not going to chat API. That'd be pretty funny. Describe yourself in one sentence. Describe your perfect first date. Why are these all about first dates? What your life look like in 10 years? Who knows? What do you usually eat in the morning? Breakfast? Have I spoken about breakfast? I mean, it's kind of like pancake related. You know what's actually crazy? I can actually talk about this. Is for whatever reason, my parents allowed me to have hot chocolate as like a breakfast drink in the morning. It was the most absurd thing. Looking back onto it, you know, it's just like it's even weirder because I don't have much of an affinity for sweet things. Like, you know, you give me some chocolate, I'll be like, oh yeah, okay, I do like chocolate. You're like, do you want to eat some candy, like candy cane sweets and that sort of thing? I'm like, hard pass, no thanks. And then you're just like, hey, do you want some fruit? I'd be like, yeah, I'll take some fruit over candy, you know, and then sometimes I'll take fruit over chocolate, you know, it depends, you know. So sometimes I'm like, you know, I'm a bit more of a chocolate mood than a fruit mood necessarily today, but not always, you know. But it's the wildest thing, because obviously you might be like, hey, what's a reasonable drink for a child to have at breakfast time? If you said water based, yes, of course, water's water's fantastically good, and obviously you can't really go wrong with just having water. But obviously kids don't always want water. Sometimes they want something different. You might be like milk, for cereal or something. That's pretty reasonable as well. I'm not here to be like, oh, technically milk's kind of like unhealthy for you because it's got like sugar and fat. It's like, okay, everything in moderation. I'm sure it's fine. Don't worry about it. And you might be like orange juice or apple juice. I mean, you might be like, oh, but it's so sugary, it's bad for your teeth. It's probably fine as long as you're like drinking your teeth properly. No, brushing your teeth properly, I would say. But I certainly don't think hot chocolate would be on there. As I don't even know why necessarily. I used to have a crazy unhealthy breakfast, and I think about it. Not all the time, mind you, because obviously breakfasts change every so often. It's just sort of like sometimes for like a week or something. But for a very long stretch of time, I basically just had hot chocolate. It's so weird now I think about it. I had hot chocolate and I had cookies for breakfast. Cookies and hot chocolate, which is like, I like hot chocolate. Don't get me wrong. I like my warm drinks, which are not caffeinated, or at least weakly caffeinated. So teas definitely up my alley. Hot chocolate is the alternative if I want something sweet to tea. Coffee, not my thing. But actually, I actually quite like the smell and taste of coffee. I just don't want to deal with like caffeine after effects or anything like that. And I don't mean the Adobe program. It doesn't even make sense. It's like, what caffeine's got to do with Adobe? What was I going to say? Oh yeah, but I used to have like hot chocolate. So there are some local shops I shouldn't say local, like chain supermarkets in the UK, like your equivalent of. And I don't know why I always talk like as if I assume you're American. You might not be, to be perfectly honest. But like how America, they've got like Walmart, Target, etc., etc. We have like large supermarkets as well, which are chains like Tesco's, Sainsbury's. Well, Tesco's and Sainsbury's are definitely the two biggest ones, and then you got like some. I'd say a step down from those two, not like in quality, but like in popularity, would be things like Asda, Morrison's. I was gonna say Waitrose. Waitrose definitely a step down from that one as well. Asda, Morrison's, like Lidl, I suppose, are very popular ones. But Tesco and Sainsbury's are always the ones that like perhaps even I have a strongest association with, because that's where my parents used to go shopping when I was going for groceries, and even now I still go to them. But very sort of like generic supermarkets, but they have a bakery section, often in Tesco's bakery, and they have where they make like fresh baked goods every single day. And I used to love going by there and buying the cookies, because it's my favorite type of cookie. Like, I don't like hard crunchy cookies, where you gotta like they snap and you gotta put a bite into it. No. I like the cookies which are soft, which melt. You like bite into them and your teeth like sink in or whatever, and it just like melts in your mouth. So we used to buy those for breakfast and be like, oh, I'll have a cookie and a quarter for breakfast. It was a pack of 5. Actually, that doesn't make sense. A pack of 5 cookies. Why do I have 1 and a quarter? I guess I must have had like I started off my day, before school. Brew myself some hot chocolate. I guess it's, I don't know, it's the child's equivalent of tea or whatever, and then eat a soft cookie. And that was my breakfast. Now, bear in mind, I did have healthy breakfast as well. This would just be like for a week or so, or sometimes. But I often had like cereal, I had like toast, I had like other things which I can't think of. But it's wild, like when you have like these really unhealthy breakfasts. At least me personally, looking back at it, a really common one as well is also to have cake. But to be fair, the cake is always after like someone had a birthday, we had a load of leftover birthday cake or something. Or someone bought a cake for us, then we'd have like cake for breakfast for like the next few days or whatever. It's not like you go out and be like, oh, what do I want for my breakfast? Food. It's it's a toss up between like oatcakes and Philadelphia cheese versus like a chocolate fudge cake or something like that. By the way, oatcakes is definitely one of my favorite breakfasts. I have a lot of different like breakfast foods now. I think about it all the time. It's just weird that hot chocolate somehow made it onto the list. And I even remember talking to like one of my friends. You might be like, is he still your friend now? And no, but I haven't spoken to him since secondary school, and it's not because of his conversation. And it's just, we weren't that close. So I guess acquaintance is probably a schoolmate, classmate is probably the right term. But I was describing this like, for breakfast I have like hot chocolate and cookies, and he was like, can your parents talk to my parents so I can have hot chocolate for breakfast? And I was like, I don't think that'll work out. Even then, like I sort of instinctively knew, and it was like, I don't know why I have hot chocolate for breakfast. But, you know, I did. And by the way, you know, I'm saying this. I don't want you to get the idea that this is the only thing I had. And that's why I keep emphasizing this factor. It's just like sometimes. But it's just like, I feel like if I had a child, I'd be like, if my child would be like, hey, I want hot chocolate for breakfast, I would be like, no. That's like, I'm going to grant you some leniency. You have a lot of like breakfast foods out there. And I don't think hot chocolate is a sensible option, though. You know, you might be on the argument and be like, oh, what's the difference between hot chocolate and like orange juice or whatever? They're both really high in sugar, and I'd be like, yeah, okay, they're both really high in sugar, but at least, you know, orange juice has, like, vitamins in it, and, you know, healthy antioxidants or something. I don't even know if that's true. I don't know about the health makeup of orange juice necessarily, but, so, you know, if you're going to have something sugary, you might as well have something sugary with also other benefits to it. Hot chocolate is just, like, you're going to have a sugar crash or something in the middle of the day. But what kind of kid has, like, just a dose of sugar, I suppose, to start off their like, long school day? 6-hour school day. Which in retrospect, not that bad, I suppose. Well, when you're a child, it's certainly of longer. Well, okay, to be fair, as a child, it is proportionally quite a lot. You know, as an adult, obviously, most people kind of like work for 9 to 5. It's like, 6 to 8 hours, or whatever. Because to be fair, a lot of kids also, you know, have school and have after school activity. Maybe not every single day, unless you, I don't know, want to exhaust your child, or, you know, your child just has endless amounts of energy and wants to do things, and maybe, I don't know. I would wager that a child should be able to have moments to live their life. Well, controversial, I know. Anyway, I don't know where we're getting out of hand, but yeah, certainly if I had a child and they were just like, can I have hot chocolate for breakfast? And my answer would be like, no, hot chocolate is like a special treat. Oh, we need to go get you medicine. A special treat you can have like on those cold winter like evenings or something. Yeah, again, to be fair, I don't think having hot chocolate just before bed is much of a better justification now I think about it. Surely there's no better time. Like, if you're going to be like, I'm going to give my child like a ridiculous amount of sugar, when should I do it? Right in the morning, right after they've woken up, or just before bed? Like, just before bed sounds like a terrible idea now I think about it, but it's a really popular like evening drink, isn't it? You know, but I guess it's like it's not actually a relaxant or anything like that, so I don't even know why it is necessarily. Anyway, my child can just have like milk and like fruit juice and water, probably. And so, they can have hot chocolate, just not like as an everyday drink on breakfast. I think it should be a rare treat because then it tastes even sweeter and better when you have it. If you have something all the time and isn't, you know, it's not as good, right? Something like that. And definitely they probably should not have cookies for breakfast. Actually, now I think about it, not only did I have the big soft cookies for breakfast sometimes, and sometimes I have those Maryland cookies. I don't know what company necessarily makes them, but you know the Maryland ones, and everyone knows them. They're like a very well-known brand. Oh yeah, I also forgot we're Nook Mission farming. Sell things, roost, okay, and chop wood. Can do. Ooh, can do. I know that guy's like cancelled or anything, isn't he? But they're hiring new voice actor. Should be me, obviously. I'm joking, by the way. I cannot do. I don't even know a character I can do like. If you were to ask me, like, what character can you do a really good impression of? I have no idea. I'm actually thinking off the top of my head. I can't really think of a character I do a particularly good impression of. Yeah, again, I'm not really known for my impressions, so, you know, I'm willing to let that one slide. But yeah, I forgot what I was going to say about all this. I kind of lost track. I just kind of, like, ended up talking about hot chocolate for breakfast. Hot chocolate for breakfast. You know, unsurprising, as time goes on, I feel like these Animal Crossing video titles are going to get more and more specific. Rather than just being like hot chocolate, it's going to be like, oh, I've already probably spoken about hot chocolate before and breakfast before. Combine them together, hot chocolate for breakfast. A breakfast hot chocolate, how about that? Rolls off the tongue a bit better. Or breakfast cookie? I don't know, because now I think about it, it's pretty common to get like a cookie. You know, you imagine someone going to a Starbucks or something and pick up like a drink. And then have like a breakfast muffin or a breakfast cookie, etc., etc. I'm not sure breakfast cookies are actually all that common, but still, breakfast muffin, absolutely. And you might be picturing a different muffin because, well, when we say muffin, actually, to be fair, hold on, because it's a thing. You know, English muffin, you know, is a thing, isn't it? But you might be like, what do you call them in England? And the answer is, I think, just muffins as well. But also, like you kind of like. Just sort of know from context. I don't even know what we call the other muffins. Like because obviously one's like English muffin, which I would call like a bread muffin. I guess the other would be like a cake muffin. I don't really know what we call them in UK now I think about it. Muffin in UK, let's see. Because I feel like muffin is more often referred to the cake muffin than the British muffin. Remember English muffin, quote, quote. I don't really know, to be honest, now I think about it. That might just be westernization. Westernization is perhaps a bit much, considering that UK's in the West. We need to actually give this medicine to Amelia, I forgot. I don't really know. I never really thought about this, to be honest. Because if someone said to me, muffin, I would think of, like, the cake muffin. You know? The sweet cake muffin, like, you know, that I assume most people in America think of. If you say English muffin to me, then yes, I do think of the English muffin, which is weird. Yeah, I don't know. I've never really thought about that. What do British people call muffins then? Let's see. English muffins and muffins in America, we call them both muffins. And context makes it obvious which one. Okay, fair enough. I just feel like most people in my life have referred to muffins as the cake muffin rather than the English muffin, right? And I actually never really thought about that. That's probably just an exposure thing, because like I've not really eaten many English muffins. Actually, now I think about it. Anyway, I used to have muffins when I was growing up as well for breakfast. Man, what? Because Costco used to do like these massive trays of muffins. Like, by the way, Costco muffins, huge. They're gargantuan. They're like the size of your palm. Bigger than the size of your palm. Even I just looked at my palm and was like, how big is that? But they are massive. They're like a mini cake, I suppose. And I used to have them for breakfast along with hot chocolate. What? Am I mind? I don't know why I said that so weirdly. Am I out of my head? Am I out of my mind? I don't know the rest of the lyrics. If you only knew the bad things I like. Something like that. Anyway, breakfast hot chocolate. Yeah, I don't know. There's better drinks out there to start your morning with. I mean, there's a whole reason that cereals and grains, I suppose, are very popular breakfast food in the first place, is because they're like a slow release energy rather than like sugars, which will just give you a sugar rush and a crash, which is, you know, kind of what you need throughout the day or whatever. You know what the best breakfast food is, actually, apart from oatcakes. Oatcakes and Philadelphia cheese, fantastic. But also, what a really good one is like McVeet bites, McActivia, what are they called? Hold on, those biscuit things. I feel like they're called McActivia, but I feel like activity is a yogurt. McActivia breakfast biscuit. Are they just called breakfast biscuit? No, not this one. Belvita, that's it. I really like those. I used to have those for breakfast as well, actually, sometimes. Also, with hot chocolate sometimes, now I think about it, because I used to remember dipping them in. Yeah, and it wasn't actually just cookies, now I think about it. It was also like digestive biscuits or whatever. I was basically having a tea time for breakfast, except for my tea was hot chocolate. I don't know. How did this happen? And you might be like, was it hot chocolate or water or with milk? With milk. So it's even more unhealthy, to be perfectly honest. That's just weird. Why did I do this? Oh well, you might be like, when's the last time you had hot chocolate? I genuinely can't remember the last time I've had a hot chocolate, to be honest. I've got to think, hold on. When is the last time I've had a hot chocolate? You know what, I bought a hot chocolate from McDonald's, like a year ago or something, when I went there. I remember that. And that was good, you know. But homemade hot chocolate is surprisingly better, probably because you actually use milk as a base rather than water as a base. And it was also scorching hot at McDonald's. The drink I was, not the actual McDonald's itself. Because it was in the middle of winter or something, from what I remember. Anyway, I don't know. That's probably the last time I had a hot chocolate at McDonald's. Who knows? Anyway, I'm going to round off this episode here. So if you have been watching, thank you very much. It's been Animal Crossing New Horizons. I've been darling. Likes, comments, subscription, shares are greatly appreciated. Twitter, Discord down below. Hope to see each other again. But for now, it's our farewell. So until next time, not to like, excuse me. Bye-bye for now. Oh, I guess I'm walking away now.